nothing but love and respect. You might have some cool fans, but mine are the best. We've been through it all, went to war when duty called. Never left a man behind, we move as one is super strong. I don't want followers, that implies I'm the leader. I'm not the captain, I just gave them something they can believe in. I hold the lamp in the darkness, but they're the light that I needed to see the road that we walk in between the angels and demons. And my fans have my back. Hate us if your feelings don't like facts. And my fans will fight back. Beat you with the keyboard you've been using to write back. I guess we need each other like both sides of the battery. We the army, we the homies, we the gang, we the cavalry. We're brothers and sisters, we hold it down like we gravity. Can't nobody break the bond that made us all family.
Me and my fans, we don't care what anybody say. Middle fingers to whoever in the way, man. Me and my fans, we gon' be together to the grave. It's the gang till forever and a day, man. Me and my fans, we don't even trip in the hate. We the own in our veins, man. Me and my fans,
We the hangover gang. Gang, 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 gang.
Oklahoma weather can dish out some of the worst punishment in the world. Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Aaron Tuttle. But now you can fight back by installing Class 4 impact-resistant shingles from Ferguson Roof Systems. These shingles can withstand large hail, heavy rain, and hurricane-force winds, all while keeping your home safe and dry. And the best part? This upgrade is completely free for many homeowners. So call today to start reaping the benefits these Class 4 shingles bring, including a discount on home insurance. Only at FergusonRoofSystems.com. Hey there, meteorologist Aaron Tuttle back with you again. Just about lunchtime here for your Wednesday update. We're going to talk about the severe weather threat for later on today, show you where the highest risk for tornadoes will be. We'll also talk about the winter storm that will follow in behind it to see how much snow is going to fall and if we're going to see it in your backyard. So thanks for joining me. Make sure you like and share this video, this live feed as we speak. Just hit the old share button on your feed and we'll get you taken care of. Also, if you are going to get late to get notifications through Facebook, hit this link I've just posted in the comment section, and you can sign up to get direct notifications from me. All right, tell you what, outside we've had a little bit of a change, obviously. You might notice a tad bit more humidity in the air. We have some cloud cover, and the winds have picked up, so wind advisory is in effect, and our temperatures are very nice. We're 65 degrees here in my backyard, and those temperatures will probably hold into the 60s to 70s once again here for today. So that is some good news if you like that kind of weather. Across the entire state itself, we do have lots of 60s out there, with the exception of the Panhandle, where the cold air is already starting to infiltrate. So that is a sign of some things to come. All right, well, the Storm Prediction Center has issued a slight risk of severe weather here across Oklahoma down into North Texas. The wording on this is a couple of tornadoes with scattered damaging winds and large hail will be possible tonight into the early morning hours across North Texas and southern to eastern Oklahoma. Let's see, let me scan through here real quick. Low-level air mass slowly destabilizing. Let's see as moisture returns, yada, yada, yada. Ascent will increase substantially tonight with the approach of this upper-level storm system as the wave over spreads the low-level moisture just east of the surface triple point. All right, let's see, between about 9 p.m., like we talked about, through midnight, thunderstorms will develop quite rapidly across the western parts of Oklahoma and northwestern Texas as the convection will subsequently become more widespread. In other words, more widespread showers and storms with some moderate instability, etc., etc. So nothing too crazy. Just mentioned a couple of tornadoes and some supercells along with some bowing segments. So luckily, again, for us, it'll be coming in through the nighttime hours, which does help to limit the severe weather threat. Here is the breakdown here of the slight risk across Oklahoma. Tornado potential low, up to golf ball size hail, and probably about 60 mile per hour winds. Same thing for kind of eastern Oklahoma. Winds up to about 60, some quarter size hail. Any potential for tornado would likely be south of the McAllister area, and even then it's even less than it is across southern Oklahoma itself or even southwest. Timing on this, as we talked about, in western Oklahoma from 9 p.m. to around midnight, up to about 4 a.m. here across central Oklahoma, and then after 4 a.m. once you head into southeastern parts of the state. And the tornado risk is going to be confined mostly here in this green shading, although we are along the I-44 corridor in the very northern fringe, just in case there's a little slight deviation in some of the surface parameters that could allow that to happen. So kind of keep your guard up here. Use my weather app, AT's Weather to Go. It's free. It will warn you if there is a twisting storm coming and give you about an extra 15 minutes or so lead time to get ready before an official warning comes out. So you'll want to use that to your advantage. Upper level storm system out here into New Mexico. And interesting is if we had timed this out a little bit better, in other words, if it had come in about 12 hours sooner with this type of an ejection pattern, which is we call it negative tilt trough axis from here to here to here, those usually produce some very high magnitude severe weather events. But because it's a little too far out west and coming in overnight, we luck out. And I do mean luck out, because it could be a lot worse should this have come in at the sweet spot, which it is not, so thank goodness. But needless to say, this storm system is what's bringing us all the inclement weather, the showers and storms, as it moves on through. When you time things out with the upper level instability and the lift, the brighter the colors, the stronger the lift. So around 9 o'clock in the evening, you can see how most of it's out here in the Texas Panhandle and along the cold front up here in northwest Oklahoma. As we head toward the midnight hour, a lot of that lift moves into the western half of the state and then through the central parts of the state through 3 o'clock in the morning. And then by 6 to 7 a.m., it's starting to move into northeastern Oklahoma. And then the wraparound up here to the north is what's going to help to really drive some good snowfall rates up there across parts of Kansas and northern Oklahoma as well. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. As this two-part storm system continues, we talked about the moisture kind of rolling in. This is the dew point values. We were bone dry the last couple of days, and now, like I said, we've got some of that humidity returning in the green. Dew points in the 50s. Look at that big surge of 60 dew points down south coming into Oklahoma around the midnight hour. So it's a little too late, thank goodness. The deeper the moisture, the higher the severe weather threat magnitude, and the better potential for tornadoes. So luckily, most of this stuff came in a little late, but it did come at the last minute, though, here for southern Oklahoma along the Red River. That is the most highlighted favorable target zone. I'll show you that here in a second. But you can see the dry air quickly. It infiltrates behind this cold front and kind of fights off the influx of the moisture right here over Oklahoma City by 3 o'clock in the morning. So even though we'll have those rough thunderstorms moving on by, cold air will quickly follow in behind it with temperatures dropping and that dry air moving in and shunting all of this moisture and stability to our east during the day on Thursday. So some good news here. And you can see this on the visible satellite picture indicating the moisture low level starting to kind of work its way in from the Gulf of Mexico, heading on into Oklahoma, showing up very well in the satellite picture here on the visible satellite loop. All right, let's see what else we got here for you. Let's break this down. The best shear and cape overlay as we kind of peak things out as we approach the midnight hour here in southwest Oklahoma. This is the Lawton area up in the south central. You see these higher cape values around 1,000 or so joules and the decent turning with height and wind shear. So if I just plot a forecast sounding down here along that region of the state, you can see a very favorable staircase look to the wind shear pattern. Nice photograph. Possible hazard type is a marginal tornado risk on the lower end of the strength, which is good. We don't want any strong tornadoes in the overnight period. But as we go through time, let's see, so from midnight to 1 to 2 to 3, you can see how that shifts out of Oklahoma City, which is right here in the center part of your map, and continues to move off to the south and east, but the colors are coming down, which means the magnitude of the instability and even the shear is less and less. So I'm not really concerned too much about severe weather in the overnight hours, the early daybreak hours out here in southeast Oklahoma, because the parameters just keep falling like a rock, which is good news. All right, so here's a look at the, we'll call it the significant tornado parameter to kind of show you where the best ingredients are. And you can see how there's kind of a highlight here near the Lawton area and along the Red River, northwestern Texas. We head into the 11 to midnight hour. So that's kind of the peak time frame from about 11 to 2, 3, maybe even 3 o'clock in the morning. And that's about it. So it's a very short window from about 11 to 3 down in south central southern Oklahoma. It just kind of barely gets up here into the Oklahoma City metro area. So it will be a close call. I can't rule it out. So just kind of keep that in mind. Here's a look at how things ought to progress on the timeline for your storm initiation. So some showers out to the east of us. No big deal there. Maybe some elevated thunderstorms in the early evening out across eastern Oklahoma. Those are not the main show as we look out to the west, which should be the kicker out here by midnight. You can see going strong out here across Oklahoma on into the 1 o'clock hour and even into the 2 a.m. hour. You do see the radar does indicate these little helicity tracks. So that is enough rotation to cause at least some large hail and possibly, yes, a tornado. And it does favor kind of in that southwestern corridor of Oklahoma and into south central Oklahoma, getting pretty close to the Norman area, and then points down to the south. So, like I said, we're kind of on the northern fringe of that here. We are getting some heavy rainfall out of this deal, and rainfall amounts still look pretty solid. About an inch here across the central Oklahoma region. Up north might be a little bit heavier, inch and a half. There'll be some pockets you might get up to 2 inches, but needless to say, we need this rain desperately for the drought conditions. All right, on the severe weather side to the winter weather side we go. A moderate and even sometimes major impact for severe winter storm event across Kansas and parts of Missouri and even northwestern Oklahoma. Why? Getting dumped on, folks, with some snow across parts of Oklahoma. Let's take a look at how the timeline ought to break out for you on the precipitation. So as we head into the, let's go 5 o'clock in the morning. Remember, we're going to be getting colder here in Oklahoma City, so it'll be a little bit of mixture of some sleet mixed in, maybe some very, very light freezing drizzle on the back side of this for this first little wave. Other than the storms out east, you see some heavy snow up here in northern Oklahoma in the blue. Out west, here comes that final round here through central Oklahoma around the 8 o'clock hour. There's 9 o'clock, there's 10 o'clock in the morning. Then we head toward about the lunchtime hour. It's starting to move out of the state, so just a couple hours after that, and it is gone. It's a very short window of time to get some pretty significant snowfall amounts, and part of that is the dry slop that'll come in. This is the mid-levels of the atmosphere. The green is all the moisture, and this brown right here, how about no moisture? 0, 1, 2, 3% humidity in the mid-levels. As this works its way in to the morning hour, you see how it kind of skips right along the I-44 corridor, which is roughly right about here on the map. So you can see the fine line in the sand, which is why, unfortunately, things shut off pretty dramatically once you get to this boundary. But once you get north of it, it's still nice and moist. The dry air didn't really infiltrate too much. Therefore, you're going to get most of your wraparound heavy snows with that, whereas the rest of Oklahoma doesn't get a whole lot. If you were just to take all the models of snowfall amounts, this is what it looks like. Just to give you an idea on the track, and we talked about here, this is the I-44 corridor. It goes about like that from Tulsa to Oklahoma City to Lawton. And then if I switch models, Canadian, American, high-res, short-term, another high-resolution model there, another one there, another one there, another one, another one, another one. You get the gist? All the heavy snows in northern northwest Oklahoma and into Kansas for this particular round. If you want to get detailed on any specific ice accumulations, just for a little bit of sleet and freezing rain, the models are kind of hitting the higher pockets here through the mid-morning hours. So a little bit of mixture of freezing rain, sleet, and snow here across parts of Oklahoma City to the west on I-40 and out on 44 toward Tulsa. Just a little light glazing. It may cause some slippery spots on bridges and overpasses, so be careful about that. Otherwise, of course, we'll have the snow that will fall in on top of that. But how much snow? And this is where things kind of get unfortunately sad for some of you, depending on what you wanted in your outlook. But if we go through time here, it's got about a ½ inch here in Tulsa, maybe an inch on the north and west side of town. Same thing for Oklahoma City, probably averaging out to about an inch here in the central Oklahoma county, and then maybe a little bit more north and west of town, and of course a lot less once you head down toward Norman. I think it's got about a few flurries, and that's it. Up here in northwest Oklahoma, I like the idea of 6 inches and maybe even 8 inches. I just don't foresee 14 or 16. The model just keeps going nuts up here. You know, crazy things can happen, but that's a pretty significant amount. But about a foot of snow in parts of eastern Kansas is probably likely, but that's par for the course for those folks. So I do expect at least a good 6 to 8 inches up here in northwest Oklahoma. And if you were to look at the blend of all the model data, this is actually a conservative amount, which keeps going up. So this conservative started at 2 to 3 inches, and I've discounted it. Last night I liked a little bit better, was getting there. Still wasn't quite there. Today it's finally almost there. It says 6 inches up here. This is conservative on the blend side up here in northwest Oklahoma, but it did drop totals quite a bit down here along the I-44 corridor. I think they'll still go up a little bit more. So I'm a little bit more bullish than that particular sweet compilation is. All right, temperatures. Obviously today we're in the 70s, looking good. As we head into the evening hours, that front will make its way through northwest Oklahoma, and then overnight tonight we'll be dropping it down toward daybreak. At 7 a.m. we're looking at 34 degrees here in Oklahoma City. So again, that's not quite freezing, but just west side of town, El Reno, etc., will be, and that freezing line continues to quickly move through. So even if you head out in the town, out and about on the roadways earlier on, you're going, everything's fine. Well, that's great, but our next round really moves in toward the middle part of the morning, around 8, 9, 10 o'clock. As you can see, temperatures will be in the 20s and dropping. So tomorrow afternoon will be disgusting. Daytime temperatures basically into the 20s the entire time. And we won't rebound really much. And then you can see where the model really loves the cold air because it's where I put the most snow. Single digits up here across parts of northern Oklahoma and into Kansas because that's snow-covered influence. Now, winds. Wind advisory today. High fire danger yesterday, moderate fire danger today, but the humidity is helping out a little bit. But these winds will stay up around 30 to 40 miles per hour during this entire event, even with the passage of the cold front. So don't expect winds to die down anytime soon until we head into, what is this? Overnight Thursday night into Friday morning. That's about the only time those things will die down. All right, with the wind and the temperatures, we'll just show you the wind chill values for your Thursday. 7 o'clock in the morning, it's in the teens and single digits out northwest. Otherwise, into the, looks like 20s elsewhere, southeast Oklahoma. But that colder air will filter in throughout the day. So wind chill values, a good chunk of Oklahoma on Thursday in the single digits. Disgusting day, not pretty at all. And then things will finally kind of calm down in the evening hours. You're going to bundle up. You're going to be outdoors. So we know it's going to be cold on Thursday. Friday morning also quite chilly, but a nice rebound in the afternoon. The weekend looks perfect. If you have anything to do outdoors, there's your chance to do it. Look at Monday, 72 again. Now, here's the kicker. We've been talking about this for a few days, how has been indications of a little winter mess coming our way for the Wednesday, Thursday time frame. You know what, let me do this number. Let's draw a cold front in blue. So cold front will be coming in during about this time. So these numbers here are subject to change and may come down quite a bit in the extended because there is a lot of variability in the model data, which may indicate a pretty significant winter storm, ice, snow, etc. So this will be something to watch for. I just didn't have time to get into it today. Once we get past this storm tonight and tomorrow, then I'll focus on the next week, and we'll see what kind of winter storm that one is going to be. But one thing at a time, right? Okay, so look, that was it for me. It was quick, dirty, to the point, 15 minutes or less. I got to run, but I appreciate you guys watching. Please share and like this video. Thank you for your support, both in just becoming a subscriber or just following, etc., etc. It's all good. And tonight, if it looks like we're going to have some tornadoes, I will be covering those live. And don't forget to check in with me tonight anyway, around 9:30. I'll do a standard Facebook Live update for your forecast to see if anything has changed. And we'll fine-tune even further the best area for tornadoes and the timing, which I don't think will change much, but we'll see. And then we'll talk about any changes in the snowfall amounts expected for your Thursday. Remember, blowing snow, blizzard-like conditions. So if you're going to travel, Kansas is not the place to be. Neither is the northwestern third of the state. Here in Oklahoma City, we should be okay for the most part. So I wouldn't cancel anything. Just be careful out there. All right, guys, been great. We'll talk again soon. Take care. Have a good afternoon.